Good morning, dear students. Today I shall take the same story, A Horse and Two Goats, by R K Narayan, from page number 58, second paragraph. He had always wanted to smoke a cigarette. Means Munni had always wanted to smoke a cigarette. Only once did the shopman give him one on credit. He remembered the time when he got one piece of cigarette from the shopkeeper, and the shopkeeper gave him that cigarette on credit. And he remembered how good it had tasted, and he remembered the taste of that cigarette which he got from the shopkeeper on credit. The other flicked the lighter open and offered a light to Munni. One cigarette was given by the foreigner to Munni, and when he kept the cigarette between his lips, the foreigner lighted the light, flicked the light. The foreigner flicked the lighter and offered Munni. The other flicked the lighter open and offered a light to Munni. After flickering the light, the foreigner offered the light to Munni. Munni felt so confused about how to act that he blew on it and put it out. After seeing the lighter, Munni was confused how to light his cigarette and put it out, and he was also confused how to put the lighter out. The other puzzled but undaunted. Undaunted means not afraid. Flourished his lighter, presented it again. But the other means the foreigner was puzzled when he saw Munni unable to light his cigarette. He was not afraid. He was undaunted, not afraid. Flourished his lighter, and presented it again and lit Munni's cigarette. Munni drew a deep puff. When Munni was lighting his cigarette with the light offered by the foreigner, he took a deep puff and started coughing. It was racking. It was distressing for Munni. It was a very bitter experience for Munni because he was smoking a cigarette after a long time. No doubt, but extremely pleasant. When his cough subsided, he wiped his eyes and took stock of the situation. But extremely pleasant. When his cough subsided, when his coughing was stable, when he stopped coughing, he wiped his tears. He started wiping his tears, which came after taking a deep puff of cigarette, and took stock of and assessed the situation and managed the situation by when his coughing was stopped. Understanding that the other man was not an inquirer of any kind. Yet in order to make sure, he remained worried. Worry means suspicious. Still, Munni was suspicious. Who was the foreigner? Thinking about the foreigner. No need to run away from a man who gave him such a potent smoke. Potent means powerful smoke. Munni thought that he was afraid of the man. So no need to run away from here because the man is providing him a powerful smoke, a potent smoke. His head was reeling. His head was tottering from the effect of one of those strong American cigarettes made with roasted tobacco. After smoking the cigarette, his head was reeling, his head was tottering because the American cigarette was very strong. The man said, "I come from New York," took out a wallet from his hip pocket and presented his card. He took out his wallet from his hip pocket and took out his visiting card, and presented before Munni. Munni shrank away. Munni drew back in fear after seeing that visiting card. Munni shrank away from the card. Munni drew himself in fear after seeing the card. Perhaps he was trying to present a warrant and arrest him. Munni thought that the foreigner was presenting a warrant to arrest him. Beware of khaki. One part of his mind warmed. One part of his mind warmed that the person is in khaki dress, so beware of khaki. Take all the cigarettes or whatever is offered, but don't get caught. Okay, take all the cigarettes or whatever is offered, but don't get caught. Such kind of words when he spoke, beware of khaki. He wished he were not 70 as the shopman had said. At 70, one did not run. Munni said that the shopkeeper reminded him that his age is near about 70. So at the age of 70, one will not be able to run away as fast as a young man can run, but surrender to whatever came. At last he thought that it would be better for him to surrender before the khaki man. He could only ward off trouble by talk. He was warding up, he was postponing the trouble by talking to that foreigner. So he went on, all in that chaste Tamil for which Kritam was famous. He was speaking in Tamil and he was trying to ward off, he was trying to prolong his arrest. He said, before God, sir, Bhagwan, who sees everything. Bhagwan means God sees everything. I tell you, sir, that we know nothing of that case. We know nothing of that case. If the murder was committed, whoever did it was not escaped. The person who did the murder, he will not be escaped. Such kind of words Munni was speaking. Munni was speaking before the foreigner in Tamil. Bhagwan is all-seeing. Everything is seen by God because God is omniscient, omnipresent and omnipotent. He is present everywhere, he is powerful and he can see everything. So the person who had committed the murder, that person will not be saved, will not be escaped. Don't ask me about it. Do not ask anything about that murder. I know nothing, I do not know anything about it. A body had been found mutilated. Mutilated means disfigured. A body was found disfigured and thrown under a tamarind tree at the border between Kritam and Kuppan. Means a body was found, a dead body was found disfigured and that dead body was found under a tamarind tree at the border between Kritam and Kuppan. A few weeks before, giving rise to much gossip and speculation. After seeing that dead body, people were talking and gossiping about the murder of that person. Munni added an explanation. Anything is possible there. People over there will stop at nothing. The foreigner nodded his head and listened courteously, though he understood nothing. The foreigner nodded his head and listened courteously through, though he understood nothing. The foreigner did not understand Tamil, but he was nodding his head that everything was clear to him. And I am sure you know when his horse was made, said the red man and smiled ingratiatingly. Ingratiatingly means intending to gain approval. I am sure you know when this horse was made. The person was asking, the farmer was asking about the horse. He asked Munni, I am sure you know when this horse was made. When this horse was made, Munni reacted to the relaxed atmosphere by smiling himself. Munni was relaxing himself by smiling and pleaded and requested, please go away, sir. I know nothing. Please go away from here. I do not know anything about the matter. I promise we will hold him for you if we see any bad character around. Munni said that if I will see the person who committed the murder, I will catch him and bring near you. We will bury him up to his neck in a coconut pit if he tries to escape. If he tries to escape, we will bury him. We will bury him up to his neck. but our village has always had a clean record. Munni also said that his village had a very clean record. Must definitely be the other village. In other village such kind of thing happened, but in his village everything is clear. Such kind of thing is murder cannot be done by anyone. Now the red man implored. Now the red man requested, please, please, I will speak slowly. Please try to understand me. Can't you understand even a simple word of English? Everyone in this country seems to know English. I have gotten along with English everywhere in this country. I got English speaking people everywhere in this country. But you don't speak it. Have you any religious or spiritual scruple? Scruple means a doubt against English speech. Have you any religious or spiritual doubt against English speech? Munni made some indistinct, means that cannot be heard clearly, sounds in his throat and shook his head. Munni was making a special kind of sound through his throat, but that sound cannot be heard easily by the foreigner, and shook his head. Encouraged, the other man went on to explain at length, uttering each syllable with care and deliberation. With care and deliberation means the process carefully considering to walk in an uncertain way as if you do not want to be noticed. Okay, the other man went on to explain at length, uttering each syllable with care and deliberation. Means the deliberation means the process carefully considering. Sidled over and took a seat beside the other man. Sidled over means he was walking in such a way that was not seen by Munni, and he sat beside him. Sidled over and took a seat beside the old man, explaining, you see, last August we probably had the hottest summer in history. He told him that in last summer we had probably the hottest summer in history, and I was working in shirt sleeves in my office on the 40th floor of the Empire State Building. He had a power failure one day, and there I was stuck for 4 hours. No elevator, no air conditioning. All the way in the train I kept thinking. And the minute I reached home in Connecticut, I told my wife Ruth, we will visit India this winter. It is time to look at other civilizations. Next day, she called the travel agent first thing and told him to fix it. And so here I am. Means the foreigner said that he came India with his wife Ruth. Okay, and they made a plan and called a travel agent and booked their ticket to India. Ruth came with me, but is staying back at Srinagar, and I am the one doing the rounds and joining her later. He said that Ruth is still in Srinagar and I was making a round of the country. Later I shall join my wife Ruth. Munni looked reflective at the end of this long oration means discourse and said rather feebly, yes, no, as a concession to the other man's language, and went on in Tamil. Munni was speaking in Tamil. When I was this high, he indicated a fruit high. I had heard my uncle say. No one can tell what he was planning to say, as the other interrupted him at this stage to ask, boy, what is the secret of your teeth? How old are you? Munni forgot. Munni forgot what he had started to say and remarked, sometimes we too lose our cattle. Jackals and cheetahs may sometimes carry them off, but sometimes it is just theft from over in the next village. He told the foreigner that our cattle were taken away by jackals and cheetahs, and sometimes the cattle were stolen by the persons living in other village, and then he will know who has done it. our priest at the temple can see in the camphor. Camphor means a substance with an aromatic smell. Flame the face of the thief. He said that when we are going to the village priest, the priest was burning a camphor, and in that camphor he showed the face of the thief who had stolen our cattle. And when he is caught, he gestured, he indicated with his hands a perfect mincing of meat. The American watched his hands intently and said, the American was watching the indication that was given by Munni to the foreigner. Said, I know what you mean. Chop something. Maybe I am holding you up and you want to chop wood. Where is your axe? Give me your axe. Hand it to me and show me what to chop. Tell me what to chop. I shall chop. Give me your axe. I do enjoy it. You know, just a hobby. It is my hobby to chop something. We get a lot of driftwood along the backwater. Driftwood means pieces of wood floating on the sea and washed ashore near my house. And on Sundays I do nothing but chop wood for the fireplace. At Sunday I was not doing anything, and the driftwood, the wood which we collected from the seashore, we were chopping that wood and was not doing anything. I was chopping wood for the fire. I really feel different when I watch the fire in the fireplace. Although it may take all the sections of the Sunday New York Times to get a fire started, and he smiled at this reference. Munni felt totally confused, but decided the best thing would be to make an attempt to get away from this place. Whatever the foreigner was telling to Munni, that was not clear. He did not understand even the ABC that is spoken by the foreigner. Munni felt totally confused. He was confused at every inch. He was confused out and out. He was confused altogether. But decided the best thing would be to make an attempt to get away from this place. At last he decided that it is the best way to run away from here. He tried to ace out, saying, must go home, and turned to go. The other seized his shoulder. The other seized his shoulder and sat desperately. The other seized his shoulder and sat there desperately. Is there no one, absolutely no one here to translate for me? Is there no one, absolutely no one here to translate me from English to your language? He looked up and down the road. He started searching someone who can translate his English into Munni's language, which was deserted in this hot afternoon. But the road was completely de-peopled. No one was seen there. Okay, when he was looking here and there on the road, the stranger almost opined, held down Munni's back to the statue and asked, isn't this statue yours? He told Munni that this statue belongs to you. Why don't you sell it to me? The foreigner told Munni that if the statue belongs to you, sell it to me. The old man now understood the reference to the horse, though for a second, and said in his own language, I was an urchin this high. When I heard my grandfather explain this horse and warrior, and my grandfather himself was this high when he heard his grandfather, whose grandfather, the old man was interrupted him. The other man interrupted him. The other man interrupted Munni. I don't want to seem to have stopped here for nothing. I will offer you a good price for this. The foreigner said that if you want to sell this statue, I will give you a very sound amount. I will give you a very handsome amount. He said, indicating the horse, and he was indicating towards the horse. He had concluded without the least doubt that Munni owned this mud horse. Perhaps he guessed by the way he sat on its pedestal. He was sitting on the pedestal, and that's why he guessed sitting on the pedestal like some savior sellers in this country presiding over their wares. He thought that he is the seller of this horse. Okay, and that's why he was sitting there. He saw many people in the village sitting with their wares, whatever the wares they were selling. And the foreigner thought that the statue belongs to Muni, and that's why he sat near the statue and he wants to sell the statue. Muni followed the man's eyes and pointing figures and deeply understood the subject matter. At last Muni understood what the foreigner wants to say. Feeling relieved that the theme of the mutilated body had been abandoned at least for the time being, and he also came to the conclusion that the foreigner is not talking to him about the mutilated body, about the disfigured body of the dead man that was found near the tamarind tree at the border of Kritam and Kuppam. Said again enthusiastically, he said enthusiastically, I was this high when my grandfather told me about this horse and the warrior, and my grandfather was this high when he himself. The Tamil that Muni spoke was stimulating even as pure sound. The Tamil that Muni spoke was stimulating his arousing interest even as pure sound, and the foreigner listened with fascination. The Tamil which was spoken by Muni, that Tamil was listened to by the foreigner in a very interesting way. I wish I had my tape recorder here. The foreigner said, would that if I had my tape recorder here, I wish to record your voice. He said, assuming, accepting something to be true, the pleasantest expression. Your language sounds wonderful. He told Muni that the language which you are speaking, that sounds wonderful. I get a kick out of every word you utter. I'm getting a kick whatever the words you are speaking. He indicated his ears, but you don't have to waste your breath in self-stop. I appreciate this article. I appreciate the articles where you are sitting. You don't have to explain, it's a point, no need to explain the qualities of this horse. I never went to a school. In those days only Brahmin went to schools. Muni explained to the foreigner that he never went to school. In those days only Brahmin children were going to schools. But we had to go out and work in the fields morning till night. And it was their duty to go in the field, and he was working there in the field from morning till night. From sowing to harvest time, and during the harvest time they were sowing, and when there was the time to cut the crop, they were harvesting and cutting the crop. That was their only duty. And when Pongal came and we had cut the harvest, and my father allowed me to go out and play with others at the tank. And so I don't know Farangi language, I don't know Firangi language. You speak Firangi language means English. That's why he remained illiterate and he did not learn the language that is spoken by the foreigner. That language is Firangi language, English language. You speak, even little fellows in your country probably speak Firangi language, foreign language. But here only learned men and officers know it. Here in our village, only learned men and officers know the village. Know the language that is spoken by you. The foreigner laughed heartily. Hearing the words spoken by Muni, the foreigner laughed heartily, took out another cigarette. He took out another cigarette and offered it to Muni. He gave another cigarette to Muni, who now smoked with ease. Now Muni was smoking with ease, with a relaxed mood, deciding to stay on if the fellow was going to be so good as to keep up his cigarette supply. Muni decided to stay there with the foreigner because the foreigner was supplying him cigarette after cigarette. The American now stood up on the pedestal in the attitude of demonstrative lecturer. The foreigner stood there near the statue, and he stood there as a demonstrative lecturer and said, running his finger along some of the carved decorations around the horseback neck, and he was shaking the carved designs that was made near the neck of the foreigner with his fingers. Speaking slowly and uttering his words syllable by syllable. Syllable by syllable he was speaking slowly and uttering his words. I could give us sales talk for this better than anyone else. This is a marvelous combination of yellow and indigo. Though faded now, how do you people of this country achieve these flaming colors? Munni now assumed that the subject was still the horse. Munni now assured that the subject was still the horse. Now, Munni came to the conclusion that the farmer was talking about the horse and not the dead body. He is not saying anything about the dead body that was found near the border. Said, this is our guardian. It means death to our adversaries. At the end of Kali Yuga, this word and all other words will be destroyed, and the Redeemer, means the ultimate Savior, will come in the shape of a horse called Kalki. Okay, Munni said, this is our guardian. Means the person, the warrior who is sitting on the horseback, that person is the guardian of our village. It means death to our adversaries, and this warrior is the death to our enemies, our adversaries. At the end of Kali Yuga, when Kali Yuga will end, this word and all other words will be destroyed. This word and all other words will be destroyed. And the Redeemer, means the ultimate Savior, will come in the shape of a horse called Kalki. Okay, called Kalki. This horse will come to life and gallop and trample down all bad men. And this horse will crush down everyone, killed everyone. While he was brooding on this pleasant vision, while he was thinking on this pleasant vision, the farmer utilized the past to say, I assure you that this will have the best home in the USA. The farmer once again told Munni that this horse had the best way in USA. Sell me and I shall take it to USA. I will push away the bookcase. You know I love books, and I am a member of 5 book clubs, and the choice and bonus volumes means freely gifted books mount up to a pile, means heap, really in our living room. In our living room I have a pile of gifted books. I have a heap of gifted books as high as this horse itself. Means the heap of book is as high in my living room as the height of this horse. But they will have to go. Ruth may disapprove means object to, but I will convince. Munni continued is a description of the end of the world. Our Pandit discoursed, our Pandit praised at the temple once how the ocean are going to close over the earth in a huge wave and swallow us. This horse will grow bigger than the biggest wave and carry on its back only the good people and kick into the floods the evil ones. Plenty of them above, he said reflectively. Do you know when it is going to happen? He asked. The foreigner now understood by the tone of the other man a question that was being asked and said, I am not a millionaire. The foreigner said that I am not a millionaire, but a modest businessman. I am a very simple businessman. My trade is coffee. My trade is coffee. Amidst all this wilderness of obscure sound, Munni caught the word coffee and said, if you want to drink coffee, drive further up in the next town. They have Friday market and there they open coffee hotels. So I learned from passers-by. I learned from passers-by that there is a coffee hotel in a nearby village. So if you want to have a cup of coffee, you go there and you can take a cup of coffee. The foreigner said, I repeat, I am not a millionaire. Ours is a modest business. My business is very modest. After all, we cannot afford to buy more than 60 minutes of TV time in a month, which works out 2 minutes a day. That is all. Although in the course of time, we will maybe sponsor a 1 hour so regularly if our sales graph continues to go up. Then the visitor, feeling that he had spent too much time already said. The visitor, feeling that he had spent too much time with Munni, said, tell me, will you accept 100 rupees or not for the horse? I would love to take the whiskered soldiers also, but no space for him this year. I will have to cancel my air ticket and take a boat home. Means I will cancel my air ticket and take this horse through a boat. I suppose Ruth can go by air if she likes. If Ruth wants to join me, she can, and if she does not want to join me, she can go through air and reach there to my country. But I will go with the horse and keep him in my cabin all the way if necessary. And he smiled at the picture of himself voyaging across the seas, hugging this horse. Okay, the foreigner was thinking that when he will carry the horse, he will hug the horse, and he was imagining the journey which he will complete through a ship or a boat. He added, I will have to pad it with a straw so that it does not break. He told that he will cover it with soft material so that it will not break or damage from anywhere. I have my station wagon, as you see. I can push the seat back and take the horse in if you will just lend me a hand with it. Lend me a hand and I can lift off the horse from its pedestal after picking out the cement at the joints. The foreigner told, lend me a hand. Help me and I can lift it from the horse from its pedestal after picking out the cement at joints. The horse is studied here with the help of cement. First I shall remove from the cement joint and then I shall keep it in my wagon. You can do anything if we have a basis of understanding. At this state, the mutual mystification, feeling of fear and surprise. At this, the mutual mystification. Mystification means feeling of fear and surprise was complete. And there was no need even to carry on a guessing game at the meaning of words. The old man chattered. The old man talked too much away in a spirit of balancing of the credits and debits of conversational exchange, and said in order to be on the credit side, "Oh, honorable one, I hope God had blessed you with numerous progeny." The father said that I hope that God has given you a lot of progeny, means children. I say this because you seem to be a good man. The father said that you seem to be a very good man, willing to stay beside an old man and talk to him, while all day I have none to talk to except when somebody stops by to ask for a piece of tobacco. But I seldom have it. Tobacco is not what it used to be at one time, and I have given up chewing. I have stopped chewing tobacco. I cannot afford it nowadays. Nowadays I cannot afford because my condition is not very good. Noting the other's interest in his speech, Munni felt encouraged to ask. When Munni found that the farmer was very interested in his conversation, then he was encouraged to ask, "How many children have you?" with appropriate gestures with his hands. Realizing that a question was being asked, the farmer realized that he asked a question. The red man replied, "I said 100. The foreigner said that I can give you 100 rupee for the statue. And Munni thought that he said that he had 100 children, which encouraged Munni to go into detail, and he started asking the details of the children. How many of your children are boys and how many girls? Where are they? Is your daughter married? Is it difficult to find a son-in-law in your country also? He asked a question that is it difficult to search a son-in-law in your country also? In answer to these questions, the red man dashed. Dashed means sudden forward movement. His hand into his pocket and brought forth his wallet in order to take immediate advantage of bearish means falling price trend in the market. Okay. The farmer thought that the price is falling, and so Munni was agreed to sell the statue in 100 rupee. He took out his wallet and from his wallet he took 100 rupee note and presented before Munni. He flourished a 100 rupee currency. Okay, he flourished a 100 rupee currency note and said, well, this is what I mean. I mean this 100 rupee. So you can take this 100 rupee and hand over the statue to me. The old man now realized that some financial element was entering their town. Now the old man realized, the foreigner, Munni realized that the conversation which was going on with the foreigner, now financial matter also entered. He peered closely at the currency note. He started staring at the currency note, the like of which he had never seen in his life. He was staring at the currency note in such a way that he had never seen such a big note. He knew the 5 and 10 by their colors, although always in other people's hand. He saw 5 rupee and 10 rupee note which was in different colors, but he never saw such a big note. While his own earning at any time was in coppers and nickels. His own earning was in coins, that was of coppers and nickels. What was this man flourishing the note for? Munni asked a question to himself. Why the man was flourishing a 100 rupee note? Perhaps asking for change. He thought that the foreigner was asking for change. He laughed to himself at the notion of anyone coming to him for changing 1,000 or 10,000 rupee note. He said with a grin. Grin means he smiled broadly. Munni smiled broadly and said, ask our village headman. He told that if you want a 100 rupee note change, go to our village headman, who is also a money lender. Our village headman is a money lender. He can change even a lakh of rupees in gold sovereigns if you prefer it that way. If you prefer to take change of 1 lakh rupee, he can give you. He thinks nobody knows, but dig the floor of his puja room and your head will reel. Means second by a blow at the side of the hole. Means when you will dig his puja ghar, you will find a lot of money which he hoarded there. Okay, and after seeing that hoarding and collection of money, your head will start reeling, your head will start shaking. Talk to the headman yourself, because he goes mad at the sight of me. Okay, he told, go and talk to the headman. If he will see me, okay, he goes mad at the sight of me. Sometimes took away his pumpkins with the creeper, and he, for some reason, thinks it was me and my goats. Someone has stolen pumpkin from his creepers, and he thought that I had stolen that pumpkin, and I gave it to my goat to eat. That's why I never let my goats be seen anywhere near his farms. That's why I never let my goat to graze near his farmhouse. His eyes traveled to his goats nosing about. He saw his goats that was nosing about, attempting to wrest nutrition from minute greenery. peeping out of rock and dry earth. Thank you.